What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Dead on Dave, and I'm coming at you live from Germany at midnight to bring to you the only prediction show that you're gonna need. I'm gonna put it all over your face, neck, and chest because it's that time of year. It's the sequel, bitches. It's time for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Part 2. That's right. It's the second. Is it going to be better than the first? What are we going to expect? Last year took a lot of people by surprise at just how good it was. This year, there is no such surprise. There's expectations. And will NXT TakeOver Brooklyn rise to those or be buried underneath the weight of those expectations? That's what we're going to find out tomorrow night. And can NXT, for the second consecutive year, outshine the WWE product, which I have to say on paper. Now look, I'm going to talk about the card, the SummerSlam card when I do the prediction show for SummerSlam, and I might do it after this show. I got to be honest, depending on how long this show takes and everything, I might do it right after this show because I'm kind of amped up. I kind of want to get it out there because on its surface, the SummerSlam card is absolutely stacked. I mean, it is top to bottom. It's deceptive because the build was so shitty, but it's there, and we're going to talk about that when I do the SummerSlam card. Of course, this is the prediction show for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Much smaller card, but should be pretty damn impressive. So, big thank you to everybody who's here watching me live knock out this big old prediction show. Sexy Gorilla, DiCapolo 100, Joseph Blunt, Carl Gibney, Kyle Lorch, I see Joe Martin. We got all kinds of people up in here. So let's not gild the lily. Let's get right into it. And we're going to start with a thank you, as always, to the copious graphics guru who is able to wade through the messy waters of his very busy life to still provide the graphics for this show. I do appreciate all the work that Sal White Death Man himself is able to do. So thank you very much, as always, Sal. Make sure you go up on Twitter at White Death Graphics and give a little shout out to Sal about his work because it's nice to be loved. It's nice to be loved. So show a little love to my good copious graphics guru. All right, let's get right into it. I don't have any fancy little slides this time. We're just going to raw dog this bitch because it's all that we know. Leaping Lizard there. Now I pat your head. You're here. You happy? Jesus Christ. Now may I get on with it? Once we get everything done, of course, we will hear from you guys on the Skypes. David Vancura, DAVIDVANCURA, and of course the number 702-751-2902. All that information is at the very bottom of the screen. Very, very bottom, underneath the ticker and everything. All the information that you want to contact your boy, you can contact me right there. All right. Let's do this thing, man. It's here. It's amazing. This card is pretty good. I mean, we have a great mix of old and new last year, which kind of has something in common with last year's NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. I mean, last year's, we had Jushin Thunder Liger. We had a lot of guys that we knew were on their way up, and it was nice to see. This year we have guys that are established, still present day, guys from other organizations that are just throughout the entire card. You just see it, and it's pretty cool, man. We're going to talk about it. Let's start with an introduction. Let's start with a first impression. Ember Moon, Athena, who feels like she just has been around the WWE forever. It feels like she was signed, like 2 years ago, and she was signed like a year ago, so it's not all that crazy. But she's finally debuting. She's done house shows. She seems to have, from what I understand, very much perfected her craft and controlled the chaos that was kind of her calling card. She was always unbelievably talented, but I always felt, watching a lot of her indie work, that she was always just on the edge of being out of control. And from what I understand, that's been tightened up, and she is finally making her debut against a kind of hit and miss Billie Kay. Billie was in an absolute train wreck of a match not that long ago with Liv Morgan, who really has train wrecks with everybody she's in there with. But Billie Kay is a very good wrestler, and I think that she is a really good first opponent for someone like Ember Moon. It's going to see how Athena works with someone like Billie, because Billie's bigger. She's got those long legs. She is athletic, but she's not known to have the pacing that Athena is definitely going to be bringing to the table. But it should be a really, really fun introductory match. See what type of gimmick. She almost seems to have like an Asian persuasion about her, you know, like with the gear that she's working with and everything. It looks kind of cool. I don't know what type of, is it a ninja-esque thing? I'm not sure, but it looks really cool, and I'm excited to see what she's going to bring to it. And Ember Moon is just kind of a badass name when you think about it. Lots of possibilities with that. So very excited, but what about predictions? This is probably the only slam dunk on the entire card. Everything else is a little bit more difficult, but this match, Ember Moon's going to go over, and she's going to go over big. I think we're all expecting that. So Ember Moon, pretty easy. What say you guys in the chat? That's what I want to hear. What do you think about Ember Moon and Billie Kay? Is there a possibility that Billie Kay is able to pull off an upset? She is the established, but is it an upset if she wins? Yes, of course it is. Athena is highly touted, as highly touted as a highly touted person can get, really. I mean, come on. Jericho's Ambrose says she has a Mortal Kombat vibe to me. Yeah, that's Asian-ish. Yes, it's very Mortal Kombat-ish. It's a ninja-ish. I think it's all in that same vein, but it's going to be cool. I'm very much excited to see how it goes over. NXT crowds tend to like the fast-paced action, so I'm pretty excited about it. Joseph B says only assholes lose their debut match. Well said. Carl Gibney, Ember Moon. Joseph Blunt says Athena goes over. And Jericho's Ambrose has high expectations for this match. Yeah, I do too. I have high expectations for Athena. That's what I have high expectations for. I have high expectations for somebody who needs to come in and revitalize the division a little bit. There's not a lot of star power left. And Bayley, is going to probably be going up very soon. We don't know how long Asuka is going to be up. So with all of that happening, we need more stars. And Ember Moon is someone who's going to come in immediately and make an impact. So Quinn Winstead, Ember Moon will win. Joe Martin, Ember Moon wins. And Lucy Gibson, Ember Moon will win. So everybody across the board is Ember Moon. Nobody wants to put the money on Billie Kay, and I really can't blame you for that. Let's move on to the next match, which, this match has got the makings of an unbelievably fun match. Styles makes fights, and this is definitely a clash of styles. When he wants to be unbelievably high-flying, but also when he wants to be very grounded, Austin Aries against the anomaly that is No Way Jose. I've said this many times, and I'll continue to say it. When you look at No Way Jose and you hear the description of what his gimmick is, there's no way this should work. There's no way it should work. But something about Jose, the look, the charisma, the vibe, the music, everything just works. The way he incorporates his shtick into his matches. He's not like Fandango, who dances for seemingly no reason at all. He incorporates none of it into his actual matches. But No Way Jose does. He's about fun. But when he gets intense, he's about as scary as it gets. And he will be taking on Austin Aries, who has lost basically every high-profile match he's had since coming up the NXT period. So it's going to be interesting to see if Austin finally gets a high caliber victory, or is this the match that really does cement Austin Aries' role within NXT as the guy, the veteran, the savvy veteran that puts over the younger guys? I got a feeling that might exactly be his role. And even if he does lose, there's no reason to think that Austin can't go up to the main roster afterwards. No reason at all. And he could do a hell of a lot to the main roster, especially with some of the depth issues that we have at SmackDown, even more now with some of the suspensions. I'm wondering how many changes are going to come after Brooklyn because of the suspensions that are coming both in male and female division. So very, very interesting thing when you think about it. But No Way Jose has the makings of a potential champion and not all that far off, because when you look at Joe and you look at Shinsuke Nakamura, the one thing they do have in common is they've been in NXT far longer than they needed to be. However, they continue to work because NXT is a place where these things do always work, and it's become its own brand. It's no longer feels like a developmental, and them being there is a detriment to their careers. Now it feels like they add so much value. Why would you want to take them away? Especially when there's not guys that are ready to come in and take that spot. With Hideo Itami back, with the emergence of a No Way Jose, with Bobby Roode there, who I think will be there for a while. Andrade, yeah, he's had some issues, but he's there. There is some depth now in the singles division to where we can start going away from Shinsuke and Joe and not worry about it too much. I do have a scenario that I would like to see with Shinsuke and Joe for the NXT Championship match, and I'll talk about in just a moment when I get to the match, that would lead to all kinds of shaking up in NXT, and we're going to see what they decide to do. But the point is, No Way Jose is a guy who could step up into that role. So does he continue his ascent and get a victory to over Austin Aries? We're going to find out what a mainstream audience thinks of No Way Jose. Look, the 14,000, 15,000 people who will be at the Barclays Center for this event, yes, they are a big crowd, but they're also widely an NXT crowd. This is a crowd that I'm sure I would say 95% of them have the network. They watch NXT every single week. They should be very well attuned to who these guys are. So I'm not expecting any pushback against the gimmick or no selling them. I'm expecting very much the same type of reactions that we get out of the very big fan interaction acts that we've seen come out of NXT in the past. So I think we're going to see that, and No Way should get a huge victory here. I think his growth would be stunted so much by a loss to Aries, unless this is a longer series, which it very well could be. Aries doesn't need the win, but it kind of feels like in some aspects he does. He doesn't lose credibility because he's still Austin Aries at the end of the day. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going with No Way Jose barely, mainly because young guy NXT makes more sense to me. So I'm going with No Way Jose. What does everybody in the chat think about this one? Let's take a look. Jericho Ambrose goes with Aries. Joseph B says, I have no idea how the notorious Brooklyn crowd will react to No Way Jose. A nearly beaten Aries cheats to win and the feud continues. That's a very good possibility. I don't think that that's beyond the realm. Lucy Gibson, I think Aries will win. Leaping Lizard, Aries will win. Jericho Ambrose, I know I will be cheering him, Joe. Sequin Winstead, I have a feeling that Jose will make a lot of believers, but I also have Aries winning. Wow. Carl Gibney also has Aries. Holy shit. Leaping Lizard, will Jose win? No way. Wow. Now, nobody is picking Jose. I'm going with Jose. Sean Bonner is now going with Jose. I'm going with No Way Jose. I feel the time is right, man. You got to keep his ascent going. I don't think you need a longer feud with Aries, although it's not the worst thing in the world. I do think this is one of those 50-50 booking situations where you could have him lose to win. Triple H is notoriously against it. In fact, he's talked about it very recently that he's not really a fan of 50-50 booking, especially down in this situation of NXT. So how's it going to go? I have no idea. Well, I do. In fact, no, wait, I do. I'm going No Way Jose, so I can't say I don't know. I'm going No Way. Sexy Gorilla says Aries. Interesting. Joseph B., I'd like Jose to win, but I don't see it, I'm afraid. Well, that's the cool thing about NXT. NXT will surprise you. When you think you have it figured out, they kind of change all the questions. That's why we love NXT so much. Mystic Mac Gaming says Jose will win. Hell yeah, there you go, Mystic Mac. I appreciate that. All right, let's move forward. Let's talk about a glorious match. Of course, I'm talking about Bobby Roode in his debut match, even though it's not quite. He has actually had a couple matches already, but that's all right. It will be our debut match for him. Bobby Roode versus Andrade Almas. Now, I want to like Andrade so much. He's got so much about him. He's a bigger high flyer. I like that. I think he's got a really good look. I think they've done a really bad job of packaging him. I don't like the suspenders. I don't like the overalls. I don't like virtually anything about his music. None of it. I don't like it. I like him. I don't like his package, how they put him together. I don't see them changing it anytime soon, but if they're going to, now's the time. Now, Bobby Roode obviously has a different thing to bring in. It seems like he's setting up to not only win, but possibly be a guy who's going to make some big waves in NXT. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's a lock over Andrade, who we know Triple H is a huge fan of. Triple H went above and beyond to get Andrade. He's been a big proponent of his. And I know Triple H has a lot of respect for Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode looks like Triple H. But with the glorious gimmick and everything that we've seen out of Bobby since coming in, it leads you to believe that Andrade doesn't have a whole hell of a lot of chance to win this match. So what I'm expecting is a classic. I'm expecting this to be the surprise match of the night, the one that is way better than anybody expected it to be. I think a lot of people are expecting to be a 5 to 7 minute match with Roode winning in fairly impressive fashion. I think we're looking at more of a 12 to 15 minute match that is going to really just set the tone. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's the opening match of the night either. This is the type of match that I think can really spark Andrade without him winning. His reactions have not been good. Roode has got that weird image about him where you don't know if he's quite a heel or a face, but most people who are hip to his act know he's a heel. This is going to be a really fun match, and I think it's going to be the one that surprises people. So we're going to see how that goes. Let's look at the chat. I'm going with Bobby Roode. I am going with Bobby Roode, but I think Andrade is going to really surprise people in the loss. The Sexy Gorilla. Roode, obviously, next match, Dave. That's not how this fucking works. What the hell's the matter with you? Mystic Mac Gaming. Roode will obviously win. Jericho's Ambrose. Andrade needs to go heel. I don't know about that. He's also picking Roode to win. Carl, give me Roode to win. Joseph B. Roode to win, and it will be glorious. Lucy Gibson, glorious Bobby Roode to win. Joe Martin, Roode will get the win. Andrade takes that L. Sexy Gorilla, surprised he didn't say Roode and skip. Nah, I don't need to do that shit. Sexy Gorilla doesn't know me. You don't know. When do I ever do that? I overthink everything. Fuck off. Leaping Lizard, Bobby Roode going to take it. Mystic Mac Gaming, Bobby Roode is the X Factor. Pittsburgh Boy, I don't care who wins between Bayley and Asuka. I'll be fine with either. We're not even talking about that match, dipshit. Jesus Christ. Sean Bonner, Roode for the killer win. Joe Martin, Sean want to talk. Jesus. So Quinn Winstead, Roode will win. I think this match will be awesome. I do too. Any Nakamura match equals the match of the night. Okay. Dr. Pill, I got the Roode one to win. I agree with that. There we go. James Brown, Roode has to win. Where's the perfect 10? Who knows where Ty Dillinger is? You never know where Ty Dillinger is. So, all right, it seems we're all in agreement there. Roode to win. It could be a little bit of a shocker, though. I mean, we'll see what happens. But still, I think it's going to be a great match. NXT Tag Team Titles. This is another one of those matches, man, where, you kind of want to think that the Revival's going over. The Revival's going to come in and they're going to take it because Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano just had that amazing match at CWC. Yes, they're a tag team, but there still seems to be something about them that they're going to not be around as a tag team very long. The Revival kind of needs to cement their whole dominance, blah, blah, blah. So it kind of all points to the Revival for a win. However, I'm not sure if we're going to have any title switching hands during this show. This is the match that I think we will see that. I think this is the match that's kind of going to change the... This is the match where everyone thinks they have a prediction in mind, where they're going to think that they got the rhythm of the night down, and it's going to be change of pace. Gargano and Ciampa are going to get the victory and kind of flip the night on its heel and make you think that anything is possible from here on out. The Revival have been very dominating. I mean, really the first ones to beat American Alpha, and then, Alpha getting the victory from them and everything, which was great. But that was just Alpha getting their crown placed on their heads and then moving on, which is funny considering they never did it with Cass and Enzo. But still, Ciampa and Gargano feel like there's something really special here. The Revival, they need to go up to the main roster. They're ready. And I don't always think you need to drop a title to move up, but the Revival dropping the title to put somebody else over who will probably be in NXT for a while longer makes a hell of a lot of sense. Now, on the flip side of that, if you keep the Revival down because they are such a strong tag team, Ciampa and Gargano make a hell of a lot of sense for that Raw Cruiserweight division that's going to be opening up here very, very soon. So you kind of want to go with them in that regard. Me personally, I think this is the match that you turn to as a change of pace. Ciampa, Gargano going big with it, with a victory over the Revival in a stunner of a match. Really, any of these matches that I've already talked about could be the opener. I would like to see Roode and Almas as the opener because I think it could set the tone. But this match could be the opener, or it could be like the third match of the night that kind of changes everything up. It might even be the buffer between the women's and men's championship matches, which I think would upset some people, but it wouldn't surprise me because we know the quality is going to be there. So I'm excited about this match, and I'm going with Ciampa and Gargano, mainly because I really want to see them against TM61, man. I want to see that match fiercely for a title. We've seen the match already, but I want to see it longer for a title. That's going to be awesome. Mystic Mac Gaming. I'm going with TM61. They're not in this match. Dr. Pill, I haven't watched NXT since January. Oh, God. That's not good. Sexy Gorilla, Revival getting called up. So obviously it changes hands. That doesn't have to change hand. We don't always have that happen, but who knows. Jericho's Ambrose, Gargano, and Ciampa look for Revival on SmackDown soon. Possibly. Maybe they might go to Raw. Who knows? Joseph B. Ciampa and Gargano win and are attacked by the Authors of Pain after. That's a very good possibility. Carl Gibney, good call, Joseph. Now they're sucking each other's dicks. We got Joseph and Carl sucking each other's dicks in the chat. That's always nice. Joe Martin, I have Ciampa and Gargano. Lucy Gibson, I have Gargano and Ciampa. Carl Gibney, Ciampa, Gargano. Sequin Winstead, Gargano, Ciampa. Everybody's on the Gargano, Ciampa train now. I will say this. Like I said, I do think that there's a possibility that if you want to go with the Revival here, because Ciampa and Gargano, they need to suss out that division, that Cruiserweight division that doesn't have as many lock-ins. I mean, now Zack Sabre is not signing with WWE. Surprisingly, I thought the lock was Kota Ibushi. He's not signing with the WWE full-time. I don't think Jack Gallagher is signing with the WWE. So a lot of these guys that we were kind of expecting to fill out the depth of the Cruiserweight division, they're not signing as of yet. So Gargano and Ciampa might be integral to that division, especially one of them possibly being a champion if it's not going to be Neville, which I think that's a good possibility too, if he's under 205, which I don't know if he is. So that, to me, there's a whole lot of discussion there to be made if you wanted to go with the Revival. But I am going with Ciampa Gargano. That's just me. Pittsburgh Boy goes with the Revival. There you go. Leaping Lizard, Ciampa, and Oregano for the win. Dr. Pill, talk about SummerSlam. Click off the fucking channel. I'll talk about SummerSlam when it's the SummerSlam fucking prediction show, which I might do afterwards, but nobody tells me what to do. Gun Cannon, Ciampa and Gargano. Sexy Gorilla, Ciampa and Gargano are my second favorite team. Sexy Gorilla, Roderick Strong signed. James Brown, do you think Cedric Alexander will make an appearance at the show? I don't know about that, but you never know. Dr. Pill. Did they sing the black person? Oh, goodness. Okay, so there we go. We got that out of the way. So those are the 4 matches. We got Ember Moon, No Way Jose, Revival, Andrade. Oh, what am I forgetting? Oh, how could I forget? Asuka versus Bayley for the NXT Women's Championship. Now, this is about, look, everybody thinks this is the one where everyone's like, well, Bayley's coming up. She's probably going to show up at SummerSlam. She is definitely not winning this match. Why are they even having it? I don't think it's that cut and dry, man. I don't think it's that cut and dry. I think they love Bayley so much that giving her the title of the only woman to win the NXT Women's Championship twice, I think is something that they might not pass up. She's an absolute goddess, man. She's so well revered and so well thought of and so well loved. She is going to be unbelievably over in this match. Asuka is probably going to end up be working heel throughout this match, which we've seen occasionally out of her in some of her actions. It could be just passed off for aggressiveness. But Bayley winning this match is not out of the question. As so many people thinks that she is automatically coming up soon. I wouldn't be surprised if she waits a little while for her debut. I mean, mainly because there's not a whole hell of a lot of division behind these two that are ready to really be ascenders to the throne. You know, who's going to take the place if Bayley and or Asuka leave right now? Nobody. So I think Bayley's got a really good chance at victory. But this, along with the main event, I have a head versus heart. Because when I think about it logically and I say all the things that I just said, Bayley seems to be the one that's going to get the victory. My heart is Asuka. My heart sings for Asuka. I love Asuka. She's a goddamn rock star. It pains me she had such a bad promo 2 weeks ago. I didn't like that. But I love Asuka. I love her to death, man. She is so different than anything else in women's wrestling today. There is no one even close to what Asuka brings to the table. So I think Asuka could win, but I think there's also a possibility that Asuka loses and she's the one who comes up. She would be the more surprising move. How shocking would it be? Everybody thinks that they know the SummerSlam moment with Sasha winning and then Bayley coming out and maybe Bayley to belly in her or some shit like that. Who knows? But how shocking would it be if Sasha's standing there finally vanquishing Charlotte and then out comes the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka? How cool would that be? I kind of like that, man. I kind of like that. So, I don't know. I think that this is not a cut and dry thing by any stretch. And I see somebody's in there, Sexy Gorilla, thinking he's one of those guys who reads little bits of things that thinks he knows everything in the world. I could tell. Bayley gave an interview. I heard the interview. It also seemed like a very in character type thing. She's being more aggressive than anything else. Of course she wants to be up, but you served a purpose, man. Team player, and she is certainly that. So who knows? We'll see what happens. And besides, she's under contract. If she doesn't like it, fucking walk. Pittsburgh Boy says Asuka. We got Sexy Gorilla Asuka, obviously. Sean Yoko Asuka. Leaping Lizard, hey, we want some Bayley. Sexy Girl says Bayley isn't going to debut at SummerSlam. On Raw, she will. No, I don't think so, but we'll see. Dr. Pill, Bayley for the win. Sean Yogo, but maybe Bayley. Yeah, it's not as easy. It's when you really think about it, there's a good possibility that Bayley wins. Mystic Mac, Asuka wins and Bayley shows up at SummerSlam. I don't see that happening. It could, but I hope not. It's too predictable. Lucy Gibson, Bayley to win. Joe Martin, Asuka wins. Leaping Lizard, I can see this going either way. I just want Bayley to win. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's very fair. Sean Yoko, hashtag, hey, we need some Bayley. Here's the thing about Bayley. We just saw her come up. Why did they do that? They could have went with a bunch of other names, people from the past, but that made me wonder, that gave me pause. If she was coming up in a month anyway, why give her that moment? At a pay-per-view, no less. So that was odd to me. And it's another reason why I think that she might win. So, but still. Bayley convincingly from Sean Bonner. Interesting. He's got some balls on him, huh? So Quinn Wynn said, I can't shake this feeling that Bayley will win. That's what I'm saying. Sexy Real, Dave, did you know Bayley is pissed off that she's still in NXT? And she said this interview because all of her friends left. I saw the interview. Like I said, I don't think it was that big of a deal. Dr. Pill, I think Mandy Rose and Sarah Lee will replace Bayley and Asuka. It's a tall order considering we haven't even seen them yet, but okie dokie. Carl Gibney, I think Asuka will win, but it will be a close call. It's going to be close either way. This will not be a runaway. It's going to be close. Joseph B, not the biggest Asuka fan, but she wins clean. The promo she gave means she's not main roster ready yet in that regard, at least. I don't think that she's ever going to be any better. That's a language thing. That's not going to change. She's like 33 or 34. I think she's past the point of return. So I don't know if that's a very good indicator because she's also given some very good promos in the past. So who knows? Gun Cannon, I have to say Bayley wins this and does not drop till after the women in the division in SmackDown gets the title and is started. I think you might be onto something there, Gun Cannon. I think you might be onto something. James Brown, I feel good. I can't take Asuka serious when she wears her thong underpants on the outside of her wrestling tights. She's obviously confused. I got Bayley because of this fact. You know what? It's hard to argue with that logic. Jericho's Ambers, I do think Asuka wins, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bayley won. That's where I'm at. Sexy Gorilla, who wants to waste their time in development? It's not development anymore. It's a brand. Everybody wants to be in NXT. Fuck yeah, Bobby Roode. He's down there because it's developmental. Get the fuck out of here. Joseph Blunt, lazy booking. That's why you always have that. Dr. Phil, Bayley is ugly. Asuka is okay looking. So Bayley's ugly? Oh, good Lord. I don't know about that shit. I don't know about that shit. Bayley ain't ugly. Bayley's got a body. Damn stupid. Why you so stupid? All right. That leads us to the main event. And you want to talk about head versus heart. Holy shit. The most dominating champion in all of professional wrestling today, outside of New Japan Pro Wrestling, of course. Samoa Joe taking on the phenomenon, the charismatic, just oozing charisma machine that is Shinsuke Nakamura, the king of strong style, the guy who is flipping the wrestling industry on his head. I talked earlier today about how there is nobody in wrestling, at the main roster at least, that has rock star power, stone cold star power. I believe Shinsuke does. I believe, even with his limited English, I believe Shinsuke Nakamura is the type of athlete, is the type of superstar, is the type of person with how he presents himself that he can absolutely flip wrestling upside fucking down if given a chance. And I don't think anyone realizes it yet, just how big of an impact he can have. They're going to tomorrow night because let me tell you something. If there is one thing on this planet that I am sure of, is we are going to hear one of the loudest fucking ovations we have ever heard in wrestling. I'm talking Attitude Era, glass breaking type pops. When Nakamura's music hits, people lose their minds. And this is the first opportunity that a massive crowd is going to really be able to voice their glee for Shinsuke Nakamura. I cannot even begin to tell you how excited I am for this prospect. Shinsuke can speak English, by the way, for the dipshit in the chat. He's like, you can't speak English, how is he a star? For one, you don't need to be able to speak English to be a star. When he just says his name and he says King of Strong Style, and he's, he does all of his, oh my God, it's storytelling to its absolute fucking finest. I love Nakamura. Now, here's my problem. This is my issue. I don't want Joe's reign to end. I kind of want him to beat Nakamura. I kind of want him to get this victory to solidify himself as even a bigger juggernaut. And then when he does come up, I kind of want Joe to come up with the NXT title. I want him to look at the Universal title, look at the WWE Championship, and call them both pussies that neither one of them is the champion that he is. That's what I want to see, because I love Samoa Joe almost as much as I love Nakamura. Yes, I do have a Nakamura boner. Go fuck if you don't like it. But there is something special about what Joe is doing right now. And you don't see it all the time. We don't get that, especially with a guy who is from tainted grounds. The WWE giving the opportunity they've given to Samoa Joe, it's the first time that we've seen it. So, in a long time, at least from guys from TNA. So, do you fuck with that? You know, do you mess with that? But then you have the counter argument to that. Don't you want to have the moment that Shinsuke is going to provide? Don't you want that moment? Yeah, this is a head versus heart. My heart is telling me, screaming at me, Shinsuke Nakamura, screaming at me. But my head is like, you don't fuck with great business. And Nakamura is going to be Nakamura on Sunday, regardless if he wins this match or not. Regardless of what he does, he is still going to be every bit of the star. Now, I think there's a possibility for a double loss of sorts. Something to happen where neither man wins, and then I don't know if they have a second match. I don't know. If there's a way that they can both win or lose and then vacate the title, I don't know. But that's something I wouldn't mind seeing. And then we get a tournament for the next NXT TakeOver for the NXT title. I would love to see that. That would be interesting. But that means taking both Joe and Nakamura out of the equation, which would run contrary to my keep Joe strong theory. So it's hard for me, man. It really is. Head versus heart. I'm going to go with heart because I'm typically a guy who believes in the big moment. And this is a big moment. I think Nakamura winning, but I don't know how much smaller of a moment it is for Nakamura to lose. That's how important Nakamura has become, that a loss would be so shocking that it's almost as big of a moment because of how shocking it would be. So this is so hard for me. I'm going to go with Shinsuke, but just barely. I would never bet on this match. Never. Never, never, never. Let's see what everybody says. Okay, let's see what people say up in here. James Brown, Shinsuke wins this one because Joe needs to come up to the main roster and feud because his promo work and his overall character is believable and his in-ring artistry is adept. I'm high on Joe. I am too, and I get that. I think that's a very well thought out theory, but you don't mess with something special. That's my counter to that, so I don't know. Okay. Dave has a Nakamura boner. Yes, I do. Joe Martin. I have Naka winning. Then Joe's going to SmackDown. That's possible. Oh, shit. Where is it at? I lost it. Fuck me. I lost where I was. Okay. Let's see. My heart says Joe. Okay, wait. Okay. Let me see. I'm losing it here. Nakamura wins huge moment out of Jericho's Ambrose. Joe Martin, I have Naka winning. I already said that. Dr. Pill, I hope someone kills Shinsuke like he did to Tyson Kidd. Jesus Christ. Wow, that's pretty sick. Joseph B, my heart says Joe, best champion I've seen in years. Nakamura goes to SmackDown and feuds with Randy Orton. I don't like that. James Brown, I'm pretty sure everyone has a Nakamura boner. Yeah, you really should. James Brown, you're a douchebag, though, so it doesn't count. That's the sexy gorilla. That's funny. Sequin Winstead, I have Samoa Joe winning, but it's going to be close. I think he will debut on SmackDown Live sometime in the future. I think it's possible. James Brown, my bad. You're an ignorant douchebag. Your comments in here are middle school level at best. I love when people get on each other's shit. That's funny. Carl Gibney, I want Joe to win. He is the best champion in the company. I agree with that. Okay, I'm going to have to start putting some of you. Since my mods aren't doing their jobs, I'm going to have to start putting some of you bitches on timeout. Fucking racism shit. Jesus Christ. Joseph Blunt or James Brown. Joe is on another level right now. His acting has been on point. Yeah. Joseph Blunt. Joe wins and becomes the most over champion in wrestling. I think that's hard to go away from, too. I like that. Jericho's Ambrose. I agree. Horrible betting match. Old School Matt, I have a soft spot for Joe, more just because I know him better only. Fair enough. Guncan, I think Shinsuke wins, but the rebound match gets done. I don't like that. If you are going to have him lose, I don't think it's to have another match because it won't be bigger than Brooklyn. So I don't know. At the next NXT show, that way we'll find out if Nakamura versus Joe are hitting main roster soon. By who loses that match, I don't know. I don't know why you would need a second match. We already have that information, you know. We know they're both ready. Leap Lizard, Shinsuke should win, but just barely. James Brown, you're right, Dave. That moment, coupled with Joe being a badass, is what they need for the product to appeal to our demo. I think the shock would be fucking heart-pounding. So that would be crazy. All right. So those are my predictions, and we've heard from you guys in chat. Now, if anybody wants to call in and talk about NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2, now's the time. Go ahead and call in on Skype, David Vancura, DAVIDVANCURA, and of course the number 702-751-2902. Okay? 702-751-2902. Call in now or I'm going to get up out of here. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do here. Part of me wants to go and just put a link up immediately for SummerSlam and get the SummerSlam review out of the way. Part of me doesn't want to do that. So I don't know. I kind of want to go to sleep because it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. But I think that's what I'm going to do. I think if there's no callers, I'm going to get up out of here and we're going to go right into the SummerSlam prediction show. I think we're going to go right into it. So what I'll do is I'm going to end this show. And then I'm going to set a link, and at the top of the hour, more than likely, I think I can make it happen by then, top of the hour, boom, we're back for the SummerSlam prediction show. How do you guys feel about that? That's what I want to know. How do you guys feel about that one? Let me know in the comment section. I don't really care. I'm probably going to do it anyway. Also, hit the like button if you've yet to do it. I want to hear from you what you thought of the program tonight. And Machinima loves the like, so hit that like button, please. Let's take a call. 607, you're live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
What's up, Dave? This is James Brown from the chat. I mentioned something in the chat. I just wanted to, what did you think if Joe wins, Shinsuke, you got that epic loss, Joe wins, and then right at the end of the show, Bobby Roode comes out to the entrance, his music's playing, and he's like staring down Joe. I think that would be an epic way to transition into another.
See, I'm kind of worried about TNA matchups that didn't work in TNA being the headlines for NXT. I think they're going to try to avoid that. We already got one when Eric Young had a match with Samoa Joe, and the crowd fucking hated it. So I don't know. Bobby Roode, I feel like more people know the name of Bobby Roode than they really know Bobby Roode. You know what I mean? It's like,
right.
I don't think it's a bad idea, but I don't think it's a necessarily exciting idea. I don't think that you step on the match of Shinsuke and Joe with having a guy come down and stare Joe down or whoever wins down. I think it kind of does a disservice to what we're going to see. Shinsuke and Joe should be one of the hardest hitting fights that we've ever fucking seen, man. I love that they have not touched each other except for, Shinsuke grabbing Joe's nose. I love that they have kept the physicality away from these two, and they are going to absolutely tear each other to fucking shreds.
And that stare down on NXT, that little interview, that was so epic. And then just Joe's like reactions. Joe is like on a totally different level right now. I think he's really coming into his own.
I think outside of maybe one other guy, he's the best champion in all of wrestling. You know?
Agreed.
But we'll see.
I appreciate you, Dave. I'm looking for that SummerSlam review.
I think I'm going to do it next. I think I'm going to go ahead and knock it out. So, yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate the call. Have yourself a good night, buddy.
All right, you too.
James Brown. It's a man's world. Living in America. I feel good. Just there you go. I think that's going to do it. Let's go ahead and get out of here, and let's jump over and do the SummerSlam prediction show. What do you guys think, huh? Or should I wait till tomorrow? No. Let's go ahead and do it now. Thank you guys for joining me right here for your NXT Brooklyn copious prediction show. I'm 50-50 on doing the SummerSlam prediction show. If I'm feeling up to it, I'll be jumping right over. We'll see what happens, all right? You guys will know. You'll see a link up, and I'll put it out on Twitter, okay? Thank you very much for joining me. Like, subscribe, and share. Subscribe and share and like it. Like it, all right? Thank you very much. We'll see you next time right here on Dead on Dave Productions for your copious reviews, previews, predictions, and all of that good stuff. Thank you very much for joining us. Remember, as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends. Keep it copious, folks. We'll see you next time. Peace.